I'm actually standing here with Andy Fowlds, who's a member of the Medway Crop Circle Group. Now, Andy, what's actually been going on this year in Kent, and can you explain any personal experiences you may have actually had?
Yes, we've had about 5 crop circles this season in Kent, which is the sort of average number of formations that we get certainly in the last few years since I've been actively following the mystery. This year we had sort of 2 we consider quite rather special ones, quite unique. The first one that arrived was at Burham on I think it was June the 24th. It was quite a special event because we believe that this formation actually arrived during daylight hours, between sort of 8 and 10 p.m. on a Saturday evening. Because we had one of our guys was up in the Bluebell Hill picnic area, observing the fields below, and we kind of go up there every day during the height of the season to check for crop circles. And at that time, at around about 8 o'clock that evening, there wasn't a crop circle in this particular field that was one of the hot spots, if you like. But approximately, we found out the following morning, after the crop circle had been sighted early the following morning, that from the farmer, when we visited his land to go and have a look at the formation, that apparently he'd reported that he had been chasing people off his field that evening at 10 o'clock with the crop circle being in his field. We presumed that the people that were there were going to visit the formation. They'd obviously seen it from quite probably the Bluebell Hill picnic area at the time. So that sort of event isn't unusual. You know, we've had many daylight reports of crop circles arriving during the day. Certainly there was one of note last year in a field only a couple of fields away from where this Burham one had arrived this year, which appeared in about 1 hour on a Sunday afternoon. So, you know, this is one aspect of the mystery that fascinates me, the fact that these things are appearing as if out of nowhere, you know, by magic, so to speak. You know, we'd seen star type of formations in Kent before, but this one was kind of special because it wasn't quite circular. It was a sort of oblique shape, you know, and it seemed to be sort of pointing in a sort of direction. It had little grape shots that were coming off, and with a little triangle that seemed to point somewhere. We had a beautiful formation at Boxley this year, reported on July the 8th, and it was magnificent. We had one last year at Boxley on the same field, but on the other side of the slope. We're calling this one the Boxley Crown, because for many people they kind of see sort of like an image of a crown or something there. So, but yeah, a wonderful formation. Beautiful lay on the ground. I was very privileged to go flying over that one and capture that formation from the air. It's one of the best crop circles I've ever seen in my life, really, from the air. It's tremendous.
Andy, I believe you had an experience with a ball of light. Now, this actually happened at Boxley in 2005. Can you explain to us what actually happened?
Yes, very, very special. Basically, I think it was a Saturday afternoon, beautiful clear day, not a cloud in the sky. I just happened to, it's got to be, you know, where I live in the Medway towns there, I just happened to be kind of, you know, just not pottering about in my backyard of my house. Kind of suddenly, I just, at the corner of my eye, got this, like a shiny light in the sky, and it was like a star, like Venus in the morning, you know, it's like a really bright star. I didn't really think anything immediately unusual about it, but then I just, you know, for some reason, I just kept observing it, and suddenly it wasn't a star anymore. It sort of dimmed down to be this sort of white spherical object, and it was just hovering there. But yeah, it was moving quite slowly towards me, coming from sort of the north to the south. I mean, there were planes in the sky that were flying by it. There was, because it's nearby, well, there's Rochester Airport, which is in the Medway towns. I'm only living a few miles from there. There's planes coming in and out there all the time. And this thing was literally almost flying, you know, moving across the sky. I mean, after sort of several minutes, I realised I wasn't observing an aeroplane, or certainly wasn't a weather balloon, or there's all these kind of things that you can eliminate after a sort of period of time. You sort of begin to realise what you're actually seeing is unexplained. You know, I mean, I had no idea what it was I was observing. But basically, yes, it manoeuvred its way to a point where it was literally directly above me, above my head. I don't know how high up in the sky it was. At times it seemed to sort of become distant and then suddenly come down again, so it looked like it was quite close. But then, yeah, it's almost as if the thing just sort of winked at me or something. It shone like a real bright star again, dimmed down, and then did a sort of, just literally turned and then headed towards the Medway Valley. Just sort of started to manoeuvre and off it went. And I was observing this thing for probably 10, 12 minutes. And then, of course, I was quite excited by this. And so, of course, getting in my car and went out and looking for crop circles that afternoon. And of course, what happened was the following morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, a colleague of mine on the way to work spotted a brand new crop circle at Boxley, which was in the direction of where this thing was moving towards. This was the afternoon before. So, you know, I can't make an absolute positive direct link between the two events. However, I just think it's wonderful. And, you know, the fact that you know, I've seen these balls of light before, but this was a special time because it was like, you know, they wanted me to see it, I guess, or something, you know, just sort of say that they were there, or whoever they were, or whoever that thing was, you know, because that's again part of the mystery. But
Well, thank you very much, Andy, for explaining your experiences in Kent, and certainly the balls of light as well. It's very good to hear what's been going on in other parts of the country, so thank you.
Thank you, sir.